You're live. Hi, folks. Good evening and welcome to the 5:30 edition here at Scottsburg downtown. This is the Board of Works for the city of Scottsburg, and we'll call our meeting to order. The first thing we have from the clerk treasurer is the roll call, please.
Mayor Raymond.
Here.
Tom Lewis.
Here.
Karen Gracious. Here.
Thank you. The next thing on our agenda is the approval of the minutes from the October 2012 meeting. If you've read the minutes and gone through those, you see no changes, we'll accept a motion to accept the minutes as presented.
I'll make that motion.
Tom Lewis makes a motion. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Karen Gracious seconds. Questions, comments, concerns? Hearing none, so moved. Now we'll hear from our department heads, and first person up is Chief Scott Zellers.
I do have just a couple things. I'd like to ask the board's permission to promote Andy Brown from rookie patrolman to patrolman first class. Andy's been on almost a year now, which is pretty traditional at the academy. He graduates by the time this promotion goes into effect. He graduated real close. I'd like to go into effect November 1st. And Andy's doing a great job. He's doing an outstanding job at the academy. We're hearing really good things on him. What I'm hearing, he's going to break the all-time marksmanship record, not for his class, but for the academy. Wow, he's been there a while. And so he's doing a good job, and I think it's time to promote him. He'll be back working the roads here within the next 2-3 weeks. So I'm asking the board's approval to promote him to patrolman first class November 1st.
From what I've seen about Mr. Officer Brown, he is an outstanding young man, former Marine,
Yeah.
and Hoorah, exactly right. And so one of the things I've asked Chief about as well is an aggressive patrol. So folks, if you are driving Scottsburg Street, you want to maintain speed limits, because with an aggressive patrol, we don't want cars going 60, 70, 80 miles an hour on our highways right now, or on side streets. So we are aggressively going to patrol those streets. We're patrolling Scottsburg. Every street of Scottsburg is being patrolled every day. So we have a force of young officers that we have given this to. So, and Mr. Brown is a wonderful example. So we would entertain a motion to promote him first class.
I'll make that motion.
Tom Lewis makes a motion. Second.
I'll second.
Karen Gracious seconds. Any comments, questions? Anything else, Chief, about Mr. Brown? Fine, young man. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Folks like to hit, move, so moved.
The other thing, since you brought that up, update, just so you know, since February, the mayor asked us to increase our patrols, not patrols, more of our enforcement, traffic enforcement as much as we could with the workload. And I have documented 450, as of today, 456 warnings or tickets have been issued since we started that. So there has been a good increase in that. And the other thing I wanted to tell the board before I forget is just to let you guys know that I did start bid processing, a process on the 2021 vehicles. And I'm starting early this year so we don't try to run into problems with that. And last year, if you remember, by the time we got bids, we couldn't get chargers. I've got 3 bids out right now. One supposed to be emailed to me today, and I'm waiting on 2 other ones. As soon as I get them, I'll bring them to the board.
One of the things that Board of Works needs to know as well, that Chief Zellers is also dedicating one of our officers for investigation. So we have one officer that's going to be dedicating most of his time just to investigations. So part of cleaning up Scottsburg, folks, is also cleaning up any type of chemical issues that we might have. So while we're cleaning up the streets, we're cleaning up our houses, we're cleaning up our yards, we're also going to be cleaning up any type of illegal activity. So we're going to have an officer fully dedicated to that. We've got about 5 young officers going to be dedicated to speed traps and keeping everybody going slow. So, or within the speed limits. So that'd be great. Thank you, Chief Zellers. So, did you need anything on the vehicle as well?
I'm sorry,
Did you-
no, sir, I don't have the bids in yet.
Okay.
As soon as I get the bids in, and then the other thing we spoke about on the vehicle for this year, as soon as I get something on that,
Okay,
I'll bring it to the board's attention and we'll go from there, sir.
thank you very much, thank you very much. Next, we have our utility office manager, Leslie Bixler.
The only thing I had for you guys tonight was a handful of sewer adjustments.
Okay, nothing else?
Nope.
Everything else going smooth?
Everything's rocking and rolling.
How are the shut-offs and coming? I mean, are folks coming in and making arrangements with you?
Yep, folks are coming in and making arrangements. Right now, this time of month is when most people's arrangements are due, so we'll be doing it as Connect Tuesday and Thursday of this week. But a lot of those people have paid or touched base with us, so things are going very smoothly, a lot better than I anticipated they would go.
And folks, we want you to know, here at City of Scottsville, we want to work with you. So if you've been laid off, if you had issues, come in and talk to Miss Leslie Bixler. She's got a kind heart and she wants to do whatever she can to help you. So please come in, we'll work with you. We want you to be a very prosperous citizen in the City of Scottsville. So thank you very much. Next we have, our clerk treasurer, Jan Hardy.
All I would have would be, to have a motion from the board, that hopefully you got to look at the claims, and I just present the claim, get a motion to accept them as presented.
I make the motion to.
Karen
accept
Richards
as
makes-
presented.
Makes a motion to accept the claims as presented. And is there a second?
I will second.
I'll do seconds. Were there any questions or comments about the claims? We've had a claim that, in going through all these claims, that I have pulled and continue to have an issue with a company that's been ongoing for, I would say, ever since I came on council in 2008. So it's been going on a long time. And we're trying to get a resolve on a brownfield area that we have. And we would like to donate that. At some point, we'll probably come back to you and say, we'd like to donate that property to the Scottsburg Cemetery. So we're working on that. So that is one claim that we probably didn't see because it was pulled. And, anything else on that? Let's go forward then. All in favor of accepting the claims that presented, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like aye. Opposed, like sign. So all passed.
I'd also let the board know that my office is working with all of our budgeted department heads, just so, because we're pretty well, might not think it, but we're wrapping the year up so that they won't overspend their budget. We just want to be alerted to any large purchases or anything that's outstanding. So we are working with our department heads on that.
The city did receive a COVID grant that we were able to purchase a truck here we talked about. And we have purchased for our water department their 25, 30-year-old Case backhoe. We replaced it with a new Caterpillar backhoe. So the city did get a new, what kind of truck would you call it? It's about 14, holds 14 tons. It's got a big raffle arm, just like when you go to the fairgrounds, you try to pick up the teddy bear and put it in the back. We've got guys that will take every teddy bear out of that thing. They're that good. They can scratch your arm with that, with that big crane thing. And, but they've got a brand new one, and we still have the old one as well. So we can actually have a side lift, so we can actually pick up garbage with it. We can do all kinds of stuff with this truck. So it's a very handy truck. Any other purchases that we think of? Okay, all right. Next we have, so things with the department heads. Is anything else that you know from any other department heads? Issues, okay. Next we have Jessica Jones on the new tenant lease.
And I apologize as this has increased this afternoon from one lease to two leases that we're going to try and get approval for. The first one, the original lease sent to you, there has been one change. The only change is adding that a security deposit will be paid. 5-Star Technology Solutions would like to rent 2 office spaces with some conference room space in there. Their lease would be a 6-month lease to go month to month after that for $1,350 a month. So I just need approval for the mayor to sign this and for us to enter into this lease agreement if you guys are okay with it.
That's the one you sent us.
Yes, that's the one I sent you. The only difference is later today I sent you out an updated, and the only update on it was that it added in for a security deposit.
We do require for the lessee to have a liability insurance and an insurance that covers their possessions as well. This lease does include utilities, so that is, it's not a triple net lease or anything like that. It is a lease that is all inclusive of the utilities as well.
And what I sent you as well had a breakdown of how we quoted their rent to them and how we figured that.
And that was going along basically city council guidelines.
Roughly, and to come up with a fair market value, we took all the leases that we have out there and how much, and looked at what the current area leases ran as far as that goes as well. And so with all utilities, we've got a square footage amount that.
I'll make a motion, we, authorize the mayor to sign lease agreement.
Melissa makes the motion to lease this property to Five Star. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Karen Grisham seconds. Any questions, comments? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
So moved.
The second one that I have is one that we've been working with for about a week and a half now, and finally got to, the finalized details on it. This would be for a 1-year lease, and they're gonna do an annual rent. They're gonna pay 100% of their rent for the year up front. And this one would be for $4,800 for the year. And in running the numbers, that comes out to about what we're charging on square footage in all the other areas. And this would be a 1-year lease. It would not have the automatic renewal. They want to be able to come back to the table for us to discuss before we would renew again. So it would just be the 1-year lease with no automatic renewal. This one would be with Knobstone Development Group. They're a real estate. They do a lot of real estate. This is they've got investment properties, but then they're also doing building and renting and selling.
This is basically gonna be more of a room for them to close on or be able to talk prospectus, and deal with that. They wanted a nice venue by which to do that. So this is not a large office, really, this is a private office that they will have their use with. And, so.
Make a motion to approve.
Let's make a motion to approve this. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Karen Grisham seconds. Any questions, comments, concerns? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. So moved. Old business, I see none. Unless anybody has anything we need to review. Next, we have Ms. Jill Sagasser with on our EDF RLF agreement.
Thank you, Mayor. So, each year, the, city of Scottsburg, now has 2 EDA revolving loan funds. Technically 3, 2 of them are combined. But the city, has utilized, my services and previous employer, and then last year through the Wheatley Group to help with the semi-annual report. The good news is that at some point in time, those reports are going to go away. Prior to a few weeks ago, those were going to go on forever. And they have gone on since the late 80s. But there should be, Congress had passed a law to allow these revolving loan funds after a certain period of time, so I believe it's 7 years, to then lose all those federal rules and requirements. So, while this is still going on until we know when your existing one can roll off of those federal requirements, you still have to meet that semi-annual report requirement. So what I have before you is almost a renewal from last year's agreement. And when I say almost, I've added a scope item here in particular. So it talks about semi-annual reports for both revolving loan funds, which is 0619, 02674, and 0639, 02499 for the period of the first 6 months of the year and then the final 6 months of the year. And then financial management, so I go through that with Jan and Tish and make sure that when they receive the payments, that those are being received in, that we balance separately. And then the new item is revolving loan fund plan update and RLF board education. So at one of the council meetings recently, it was discussed that we were talking about the CARES Act revolving loan fund plan, that there may be some items in the existing revolving loan fund that may not pertain to the situation today. And so, and also that the revolving loan fund board may not really be aware of all the rules and requirements that are associated with these grants until the federal government takes them away. So what was suggested at city council is that we kind of have a informational session with the revolving loan fund board, and then start to work with the council as well to make upgrades, you know, throughout this next year to the existing plan. Take out some things that maybe, the council and the mayor want to change, that you can, there are only certain things you can change, and to start that process. So, that was the additional item that was added to the scope. And the dollar amount is $2,500. And that is to be paid out of the revolving loan fund administrative fund. There are only certain things that you can use that money for. And that money comes from interest that you may earn from the accounts, but also interest that you earn on those loans when they're repaid, which is all tracked as well. So I'm presenting that to you for your approval and signature.
We have a motion then to approve these agreements as presented by Ms. Jill.
I'll make that motion.
Tom Lewis makes the motion.
I'll second.
Aaron Rushy seconds. Any questions they have on any?
You said that earlier, right?
I do believe she had.
Okay, hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, so moved.
I don't like to work myself out of the job, but that's gonna be a really nice thing if you can drop those federal requirements after a while. So,
It's kind of surprising too.
well, it took an act of Congress and the mayor was instrumental, and there's a National Association of Development Organizations that deals with, their members have a lot of these revolving loan funds, and some of them have had them since the early 70s, and they've been reporting on them. And the loan money has turned over many, many times. And they've been pushing and pushing, and so when the call came out, I asked the mayor if he would be willing to support that, and he was, and I think they finally got enough support that both the House and the Senate passed that, because it literally did take an act of Congress to get that changed, so.
In fact, we have a new customer who is wanting to borrow a little money from us
Yes.
as well. Actually, two, there's one you're not.
Okay, good.
So we have the one that we know about and the other one to take up the balance of that.
And that will also put the city into having a federal audit with that
Yes.
other 500,000 that we just got the second fund. So past couple, 3 years with state board of accounts, we have not had a federal audit, but we can expect that, yeah, we can expect that next year. But
At least a revolving loan fund for sure will have to have its own audit, right? So, yes.
You know, and we were able to also receive this other grant as well, where we're able to help support those who've been negatively affected. And there was also a body for that, and that was presented. Mayor's office had an appointment. Wasn't me, it wasn't just, the city council had an appointment. Jill kind of heads up that board as well, and Jill had an appointment on that too. Dan has an appointment on that as well, so we have 4 people in that. So, other announcements, what announcements do we have for today? We did have 49 new infections this past week. So infections are, staying right up, going in there. So, unfortunately, this is probably gonna be our last meeting before the national election and the county election. So, please keep all of that in your prayers as well. The Lord provides who He would have in these positions. Lord talks about putting up shields and putting down shields. And those shields are typically political entities or rulers. So that's what that's all about. What else do we have for this evening?
Nothing from me.
Nothing from me.
Well, if nothing else, folks, thank you very much. We'll have city council here at 6:30. That's about 35 minutes, so you can have a nice bite of supper, and we'll see you in here in about 35 minutes. We're adjourned. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Very good.
So